another product showcase that I'm absolutely delighted to share with you today. This is especially for the farmers, for people in agriculture, for the boertjies out there. So we had a client that approached us. Now, this client is in agriculture. He's farming, not at a massive scale, but also handling his affairs as a business. Now, there's a lot of terminology that I want to preamble by saying that excuse my lack of terminology. I'm not in the agricultural sector and I don't mean to use anything wrong. So see this as someone presenting a solution that's not in agriculture. I hope that's the best way of the T's and C's to supply. But in any case, so a client came to us and said, Dion and team, I'm struggling with the following. So what happens is I farm and I get my fertilization program from my consultant, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, doesn't matter, which is basically my prescription on how to apply, my application program on how to apply fertilizer, pesticides, everything like that into my business. Well, obviously it is designed on the logic of someone that's very data driven. And now the farmer, the end user needs to kind of like use that data. And even though they understand the data, I'm not saying my client didn't understand the data. He understands it very well. The problem that he sat with is giving or kind of like, applying the application process very often does not consider or keep in factor leave days, weather-related things, and there's a lot of products that you can give during high humidity, lower humidity that you should give at different points, and that technicality is not by me. But the point that I'm trying to make is the solution that we build is the application of their program really fluctuates on a day-to-day business. And if you miss a certain day or you give it wrong according to missed opportunities, unforeseen plannings, like maybe you're on holiday and you gave your team this on for the week, but this day the humidity is very high. So certain sprays is not as effective, or, with the rain, it's not that effective, everything like that. Like there's a lot of manual input in planning on when to do it following. So he came to me with a basic thing. He said, Dion, I want to manage my company more effectively. What I want to do is I want a system, an MVP that we built, where I can upload all my recommendation sheets, which is all comprehensive Excel sheets. I want my AI model to understand the logic, to understand the application, to understand the cause and effect, the if, then that, the if and when, if and then functions. But I also want it to understand the type of product that's going in that is best matched with certain weather patterns. Then I also want it to take that program and apply it to my actual personal calendar so I can manage that more effectively. And there's certain solutions out there that caters for that, but in essence, it's not very user-friendly because you wanted to see one dashboard. The other problem that he faced with is, he says, with financial planning. So I did not know this. You guys that's listening, if you're in the agricultural space, that makes logic sense. There's one thing to order stock, to plan. Obviously, you need the stock in hand to actually plan when to execute it. The same goes for feed and things like that. But then there's a lot of fluctuations in the economy. There's oil prices, there's rand dollar fluctuations, there's supplier change in pricing and everything like that. And he said to me, I wanted to know in advance when product is going to be an issue, meaning when I need to order product before I get to that, because otherwise it's very manual intensive for him to be on top of it. Why not develop a system that will tell you automatically based on the stock that you take in from the inventory and how you use it, and knowing how you're going to use it based on reading and scraping your entire plan, so it knows in the future. You cannot miss anything. It knows for you. But then secondly, he said to me that obviously farming is very cost sensitive, like input costs, just complete mess with the margins. So in his specific case, what he asked for is, he says, I want the kind of like global affairs, economic affairs, rand dollar affairs, everything like that, the changes from supplier costs or whatever, to tell me in advance, regardless if I have stock in hand now, to rather buy, rather hold, or rather get more now, because in the future it will be more expensive. Now, logically thinking, you're thinking, just buy everything in the future. But obviously cash flow is one thing. The second thing is things have an expiry date, or things get lost, or they get messed up, or whatever. And you also do have limited warehousing spaces. So we said, we'll build you something. And we ended up building him something very cool with a couple of additional functionalities. So please stay tuned as I share my screen and I show you a couple of cool So this is his command center, Agri Manager. So Agri Manager, just from I'm not going to go through all the functionalities. He gave me permission to share this. I'm just going to show you a couple of very cool things. So in essence, what happens is you still have your programs. This is where all the programs gets uploaded for each and various block or each and various, thing that he farms with or whatever. This is in essence where you upload, or your consultant will upload their sheets, their logics, their formulations, their agenda, their schedule, their prescription on when to apply what, their application, everything like that gets imported here with all the various data and science and formulations and everything from the different products that contains these trace elements and elements linked to that. In any case, I told you I'm not here to give you a lecture on any of the terminology, so excuse me in advance for that. But in essence, how it looks is he's now got a command center, and this command center allows him to manage everything that he came with a problem in a solution form. So you can see up front in the top, for example, he will have different different warning signs that pops up that says, for example, in this one, area trending 12% over 6 weeks in oil and freight. Because of oil and freight, bring forward your August reorder to lock in current price. So naturally, his order would have gone out in August. The system is warning him and say, listen, you'd rather bring it now because predictive analytics says the price increase will go up then. There's obviously another cost warning that comes up on a specific product. That says, there will be cost rising because of US dollar and ZAI weaknesses, because we use past analytics to actually create predictive analytics of when problems will arise. And then there's another kind of like warnings like yellow maize firming on suffix, ahead of planting, feed mix, cost watch active for his cattle, and then the weather analyst. Now, what's great about this is, let's just take the weather, for example. If he needed to apply a certain product to the leaves or whatever, but the rain is forecasted for today, his system would now automatically reschedule that to stay within the logic of the prescription or program or whatever, reorder his day and say, don't do it Tuesday, do it Wednesday, but because you do it Wednesday, this and this and this, according to your consultant's logic, needs to be shifted out there or actually removed sooner. Guys, how flippin' cool is this? Gives him his active alerts. It breaks down the tasks per block, and as he applies, it actually monitors and tracks the application cost per block. So he's got a live view of cash flow. Now, obviously, to his extent, he's still keeping his OPEX, operational costs, expenses, and things like on his operating system when it comes to OPEX, his accounting software, whatever. But our next phase is to link up his accounting software so that we can have everything here linked to this. It gives him the exact widgets of, all the weather data that it takes in accountability, the US dollar exchange rates, everything like that. And obviously the toggles between livestock management and crop management. So this is his crop management section. This is his livestock management section. Got a head total, daily weather, the feeds, the health due, feedstock value, everything like that, to actually just plan everything like that. So this is pretty freaking cool. But what it does is, as I said, is it takes the application logic from the consultant and it actually schedules it automatically, breaks it down into minimal things into his day-to-day calendar that he can now plan his month in Gantt view, in Kanban view, everything like that, with a checked assignment, but also when not checked, meaning I didn't get to it, the system automatically reschedules that and warns him if he's going to waste product, overuse product, anything like that, which is super cool. And then obviously run an adaptive engine, which adapts everything based to the AI logic and skill sets that we build in. Unfortunately, that I cannot show you. This is proprietary information, but it's based on the skill set that a consultant will use in the logic of the field, which is absolutely amazing. It's got these cost and market analysis where everything, gets analyzed from fertilizer to feed, all the various import linked product prices for the week, showing him this trend, showing them the price trend, where it's getting that from, what drives the prices up. It will actually read the market for him and tell him, listen here, this is going to drive your prices up because of this and this and this and this, and what category it's from. It's got the market and input news feeds, everything broken down here. And then the cool thing is the logistic manager. So let's say for him, he's got stock that he needs to order to apply it in 2-3 weeks time. That label actually gets auto tracked, so when it's late or when it doesn't deliver, if the system picks up it's not into inventory or stock, it will actually warn you, readjust how you can manage your week so you don't burn out and you can actually effectively still continue to farm, do your work without thumb sucking and wondering what to do. And obviously just change your schedule based on the original, feeding or not feeding, but application. So you can do it more effectively. It will actually tell you what orders are impacting the calendar. For example, here it was a specific product from Yara, Kainoch, Lan, all those type of things. You can push it to the affected task so you can see where it falls out, and then you can track your suppliers here down at the bottom as well. The same with the livestock. You can manage everything here, viewed in your calendar type and your feedstock type as well. But the coolest thing as well is obviously this person is sitting with staff that needs to execute the task. Now, instead of telling them on a daily basis, do this, and then the program changes, and now you need to say, oh, wait a minute, don't do this, focus on this, or what did I say? He actually uses WhatsApp, and different farms use different communications, but he uses WhatsApp for communication. So we build in WhatsApp. So now, on a daily basis, his entire work flow gets automated in tasks and pushed through on WhatsApp to say to the farm manager, to the employee, to the driver, to whatever, listen here, these are your tasks for today, that links up to the system. But also there's the weekly plan that they can also get that shows the entire weekly plan on what they're getting. And here we see a couple of examples to show exactly what needs to be done. And then each communication can actually be clicked on to go and show the mixing schedule, the application schedule, everything like that. So I'm very excited about this. This guy, our client, is very, very excited about this. And for the first time, he came with a modern problem that he faces daily, brought the problem to us. That's always what we say during our discovery calls, because this is the terms and conditions that I want to show in. This might not work for you.